record this so you can come back and watch it and listen to it.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Um, you said you put it on Instagram.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a character content post.
Let's do this. All right.
But it might be a little bit of character content and connection, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
See, the thing is they can be merged for sure. Can you see the
Okay.
screen or no?
No,
Okay.
it's just a black screen. I see a screen.
Yeah, I want you to see
But
something else besides the black screen. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Stop. There we go. We'll just show the whole damn thing. What about now?
yep.
Okay. How are you feeling about everything? Like, you feel like having it laid out the way I laid it out is helping you create some consistency because you know what to post next?
Yeah. I think for some reason it like helps me get ideas of what to say,
Yeah.
which I knew I had that in my like wheelhouse all along. I just didn't know how, like maybe it makes more sense now that I know how to lay it out.
Yep. So, strategy is everything. That's what people don't realize. Whenever you feel like you're turning your wheels and you're like, well, I'm writing, but nobody's showing up, nobody's reaching out, like, what in the hell am I doing? It's because we don't have a little, it's just a roadmap if you really think about it. It's a little roadmap, a little plan. You know, I relate it to like a game of chess. You don't just sit there and like throw shit around and hope that you win. You have a strategy. Like, you think ahead of time and you write ahead of time. Um, okay, so are we looking at this one, 5 things you don't know about me?
Yeah.
Okay. Warning, truth, oh, I love this right here. I've never put a warning label on my content, but I really like that because I really like, I'm going to steal that. So you just taught me
Okay.
something today. But it does. It's like warning, whoa, whoa. And you can't help but, it's like an accident you can't look away from. You know, like I know I shouldn't look, but catches your attention real quickly. All right, warning, truth, problems, enclosed. All, it's all you know, our business is. Sorry, I'm just gonna read this to myself real quick. Look, structure looks really good, like really, really good. It's easy to read, which I really like because on Instagram especially, you know how it just smushes it all. Like it doesn't even give you line breaks and comments. It just smushes it all together.
Yeah.
Do you find this tool useful so far? The little preform,
Oh yeah, Preform is my new best friend.
right? When I found out about it, I was like, how in the hell did I not know about this sooner? Like, all
I
right,
told one of my VA clients about it and he was like, "Oh, yeah, use that every time." I was like,
already knew.
"Okay."
Okay, so do you have any questions? You started with this, you led with this, and then I was like, let me look it up real quick, and I kind of cut you off.
Oh, I just I want to make sure that it all flows. Because as I was reading it, I was like, okay, I'm starting off with one thing and then I'm kind of ending it in a way like, does it actually, like, does the end actually connect to the beginning?
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
I, like, the title says 5 things you don't know about me, but the whole point of the post is success mindset. So when people are reading that, are they actually making that connection or see what I'm pointing to?
Okay. 5 things you didn't know about me. Morning, truth problems, enclosed. As you all know, our businesses are forever evolving. We learn, we grow, we make mistakes, we win, sometimes big. What does this growth really look like? Several instances of crying over failed post launches and strategies didn't work. Buying course including imposter syndrome and selling ourselves short. Have it easy. Source your mindset. Oh, hold on. We have Justice trying to get in. Okay, so first glance, yeah, it does feel kind of like, wait, and especially since you're saying You're kind of being really general. You're like ourselves, our this. You use we a lot. Get really comfortable with when you're talking about yourself, saying I. Like, just come out and say I. Like, I screwed up. I did this. But when you're speaking to your audience, I know we want them to think like we're in this together, but you need to
Mm-hmm.
speak directly to them. You need to get inside. This is the problem: is a lot of us are really general. So when we say things like we, our, I mean, it's different if you're saying we're in this together, like we women have to stick together or something like that. But otherwise, it's very general. They don't feel, they still, if you really think about it, like a group of people. So start saying you so that they make that connection and feel like you are talking directly to them, which as an entrepreneur, we want to help as many people as we can, especially someone in like your business or Justice's business. Um, you want to help as many people as you can, but you really got to speak directly to them. Okay.
Yeah, that
I
makes
would,
sense.
yeah, I would switch the word we for you a lot. But and just that right there would make it feel more flowy for me because you start out saying this is about me, but then you're saying we, our, and it's kind of like, well, who are you talking to? Is the vibe it gives me. Um,
I know. Well, my thought when I was going through it at first was I was writing I and me and my a lot. And I was like, well, I need to kind of avoid that. How do I still make this about me? And then I was like, well, if I include myself in this group of people that probably do this too, that was kind of my thought process, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
and that's the natural pattern of thinking. That's just the way your
Mm-hmm.
brain thinks. Um, but you have to, when you feel yourself going into that old habit of saying
Mm-hmm.
we, immediately just talk to them, okay? Because
Okay.
that's what you're doing. Your content needs to form a one-on-one relationship before they ever even are in your inbox, before you ever have to reach out to them. Because what happens is when you say you, and you're speaking, they literally feel like you're speaking directly to them. I would go as far to say, I mean, you guys have read some of my content, and you probably at times feel like, "God, she's talking to me. Like,
Yeah.
how is she in my head right now?" Because I
Yeah.
speak directly to you and I say you a lot, and there's psychology behind it. And so the point is to make them feel so close to you through the content that when you finally do reach out, they're like, oh my God. Some people like kind of freak out because they've been following your stuff for so long, and they just don't have the balls to reach out to you. But by the time you reach out to them, if you've positioned your content and you've stuck to the strategy, which has a lot of psychology behind it, and that should really turn you on because you're into mindset, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
you speak directly to them. Pretend like they're the only person in the room every time you
Okay.
talk. Um, and whenever you really make that one-on-one connection, it affects the masses, but you just need to focus on one person at a time. But yeah, this is kind of all over the place. But
Okay.
the way you can fix it, okay, because it doesn't really say anything about 5 things about you. I would go back and I would change the title, and
Okay.
that should fix everything. Um, 5 things you didn't know about me. What's your overall? Because I have reading comprehension difficulties, and me talking and being put on the spot, I can't really grasp the overall message.
Yeah.
What is your overall message here? Like, what are you wanting them to take away from it?
That all of us have been, so the five things are the five little fire point bullets or whatever.
Hmm.
And I like the whole point is that I've done all of those things and I know a lot of people have done all of those things as well, but you can't not do all of those things or at least make similar mistakes without being success. Like in order to be successful, that's what you have to do is make these kind of mistakes.
Okay. So you could reword this. You could say, I've cried over failed post launches and strategies, I don't know how many times. I've
Mm-hmm.
bought course after course and I've consumed freebies for months on end. I've been full of self doubt, imposter syndrome, and I sell myself short frequently. I wish I could have it easy, or you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So take possession of it. Take possession of it if you want to go with that deep connection and say, you know what? I feel like a fucking failure. I planned this launch and I didn't sell anything, or whatever, your outcome was. Um, Take ownership of it. Like, a lot of us think that when we get vulnerable, like it makes us come off as weak. But if
Yeah.
you utilize it the right way, it's a weapon. It allows people to connect with you on a different level, because this is me out of love and telling you the leaks I see, but what you have here is kind of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
It's not going to stand out because it feels really cookie cutter. You're not willing to expose yourself still. You're kind of hiding behind we and our. And if you'll just come out and say, entrepreneur kind of fucking sucks, and I'm right there with you. I can relate. They're going to be like, oh shit, did she really just say that? So she's human too? Because we tend to, if you watch that video with Yaya, he's saying, like, the problem isn't procrastination, is perfectionism. We're trying so hard to create this image, and you want to create like this really strong, reputable brand and like be a powerhouse and whatnot. But what makes you a powerhouse is being able to say, like, look, I'm human too, and my business isn't perfect, and I can relate to you, and that's using vulnerability as a weapon. It's not a weakness. So I would go back and I would decide, do I want this to be a connection post, and do I want them to feel really close to me, and kind of give them the permission to feel these things and validate what they're feeling right now if they're stuck in business or in mindset, and make it more about me and say, I, and I get you, I understand because I've been there? Or do you want to make it kind of a credibility piece where you're saying, you know, you've probably cried over failed post launches and strategies that just don't work. Um, you may find yourself buying course after course and still feeling like you don't have it figured out. So figure out, do you want it to be a connection piece, which is going to be talking more about you, or if you want it to be credibility and kind of like a how to, because it could go either way.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you feel better about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Justice, what's up? And if you have any other questions, let me know, because I know things will come. Like, if I know you only have a few minutes, and Justice, I want to preface with that, she's got to go here in a minute. But if anything pops up, since you're cramped for time, just let us know.
Okay. I will. Thank you. I really appreciate you looking at that.
You're so welcome.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry I'm late. I woke up super early this morning and then I fell asleep. So,
All right. So, the way these go, y'all hold on, he wants to nurse, I'm sorry. The way these go is like literally any questions you have pertaining to business, content strategy, marketing, all that, just free range. And what usually happens is somebody will have a question, and then it'll like trigger another question in somebody else, and so we kind of just snowball from there. But
okay. Oh, sorry, I'm currently sorry.
I love the mom life, because everybody says sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and it's like, you don't gotta quit apologizing. I get it. I literally have a baby on my tit right now, so I totally can relate.
Well, I'm over here struggling to try to put pants on. So,
Just picturing it.
I am totally all over the place this morning.
Aren't we all? Elegant messes put together.
Right.
Or trying to appear to be put together. We're not. I'm not.
Right. No, for real. Okay. Well, I guess I don't really have any specific questions. Overall, I guess just right off the top of my head, I don't know if you've had the chance to kind of see. I know you've commented on some of my stuff, but kind of what your opinion is on how my content is going, since I started the course. And then, I've talked with you a little bit about where I'm wanting to take my content with, like motherhood and becoming a new mom and pregnancy and stuff like that. And I really think that that is going to be good for me, just because with just the couple posts that I've done, I've had multiple people reach out to me, even people who have told me, like, I don't want kids, I don't want to ever get pregnant, I don't want to deal with this, but I love that I get to like kind of experience it through you. So I feel like that's really cool. So I'm excited to like keep that going.
All right, so you bring up some good points, and I want Kristen and anybody else who is listening on the replay to really listen to this right here. You're talking about what you just said is the epitome of branding. And a lot of people think that a brand is the aesthetics, the graphics, the messaging and stuff like that. But like a brand is like who you are as a person. So by really zoning in and honing in on like the newfound joys and stresses and uncomfortable things of motherhood, the new discovery and journey of motherhood, that's now becoming part of your brand. Okay, and it's really important that you are highlighting something like that, because it's so much deeper than just, well, I'm a new mom and I want to show off my baby and my lifestyle. Now you've incorporated it into your life so that it's kind of like a prerequisite to anyone who follows you. It's going to weed out people who are not interested in motherhood, who you probably wouldn't want to work with anyway, because they don't understand what it's like to run a business with a child as a mom, running around with her head cut off in 15 fucking directions. Okay, so it becomes such a big part. So what happens is a lot of us don't understand what a brand, like branding ourselves, is. And what we do is we go in and we work on Canva a lot, and we create all these reels just because they're trending, and nobody actually ever gets to know us. They just think of us as, honestly, in a way, it's kind of intimidating, because if you have all the fancy headshots and you're posting all the right things and you're like not showing the valleys and the trenches of what it's like to be a mom and an entrepreneur, and what it is that actually goes on behind the scenes that makes you and your company and your business work, which ultimately is your brand, you're no longer relatable. So I'm really glad you pointed that out, is what I'm getting at, because that's now going to be like what Justice is known for, like this cute little firecracker mom, beauty business owner, and so I think it's really good that you're incorporating that and you're riding on that, because it's going to weed out, it's going to polarize the wrong people but attract the right people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And I think for me, I remember just like in the past, I would have all of these people on my Facebook who had kids. And I remember just sitting there thinking, like, I don't relate to them on that level of having children. And so now that I can relate in some aspects, like I'm not quite to the point of actually having a child yet, but being pregnant and getting the process started and getting to that point, like I'm relating to them a lot more. And so I think showcasing that, it's really allowed me to make a lot more connections. And I'm someone who really likes to be real and raw. Like pregnancy is not for the faint of heart. I know motherhood's not going to be for the faint of heart. Like it's not some easy breezy highlight reel that you see. And so I like to be real in that aspect. So I look forward to continuing that.
Yep. You'll start creating such genuine relationships. But then there's also the parallelism of the fact that, I mean, that's entrepreneurship too. That's running a business too. Bye, Kristen. But now you can like create content from a space of like, motherhood is hard, so is building a business, but building a business is going to allow me to be more present in motherhood. Like, you can just go bounce back and forth, and really tap into the psychology of, why we as moms have businesses, and it's to give our children like the lives we never had, being able to say yes more and have options and all that. So
Absolutely.
continue to create content from that space, because those are the kind of thoughts that so many of us have. And I mean, you are the person that is going to make everything click for one person out there. And I mean, not just one person, but you're the person who, it just may click. They've listened to people, they've read lots of content, but for some reason they relate to you, and then you come out there and you're visible as fuck, and you give them permission to be in touch with their feelings and have these emotions and have these thoughts, and you're doing great. All in all, you're doing great. So let me go look at your timeline.
I do have a question. It doesn't have anything to do with that specifically, but it just popped into my head.
What's that?
A lot of my business, while my business is very centered around like building a team, and that is important, and enrolling people and stuff like that, all of that is really important, but it's also important for me to have my own personal sales. And I just want to know kind of like how to go about the content in order to make sales for products specifically. I know how to do it in my stories. I do a lot of face to camera in my stories. I do a lot of like reviews, or I'll like kind of share it. But I don't want to come off spammy on my timeline of like, buy this product from me. Like, we did a sale, we have a sale going on right now, and I made a post about it, and I almost wasn't sure about posting it just because I just don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. There are a few different things you could do. One of my clients, she is with Bellamy, and we came up with this idea for her to be able to make more sales. If you're super knowledgeable in the products, I think it's a good idea to, sorry, I want to stop sharing. Shit. Okay. How do you feel about like some kind of beauty, like free beauty consultation or something like that?
I mean, it's not anything I've ever like thought about or considered, so I'm not sure. Like,
yeah, they're just ideas.
Yeah.
A lot of, because my mentality for her was, so I do sales calls, or like I do voice memos or something like that, but one thing she's going to start working in her content, we're experimenting with it, is speaking from that motherhood place of self-care, and the fact that, what do? We put ourselves on the back burners all the time. Like me, I don't do much with my hair. I'm very natural because I just don't have the time and I don't really have the interest. But if I were to come across content that spoke to me in a way of making it easy and reminding me that I deserve that and that I should put myself first in that way, and they made it, 1, easy, 2, affordable, and 3, just, it's not a lot to add to like what I'm already doing, which is not much. But if I were to come across content like that and I could connect and I could relate, and then someone was like, oh, well, like a free beauty consultation, or like a little survey, and I can recommend some, like a regimen, a custom regimen for you, I'd probably be more prone to be like, that sounds pretty good, because just me as a busy mom, I don't go and I don't look at products, I don't look for them, I don't know much about them, I just don't know anything about it. So we were thinking, and this is what we're going to try, where it's just kind of an experiment right now, is to start creating content specifically towards moms who are struggling with self-care, who maybe don't think about it, who want something that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. They don't have time to go to go outside the home for self-care. So how can we like bring it to them and start creating conversion pieces, but also like connection pieces as well, pretty much all the pieces, but nurture them through the content, and then either get them to fill out some sort of survey, or book a consultation call with her, like a 30-minute consult. Even 20 minutes would be good, 15 to 20 minutes, so it didn't take much of your time. But if you could get in front of that person, form a relationship, figure out like, Mama, where are you struggling? Like, why aren't you taking care of yourself? Why aren't you painting your toenails? Like, what's going on here? And you could connect with them on that personal level. Then you have control, and once they feel bonded to you, you could be like, all right, so this is what you need. And you could literally walk them through the whole ordering process and put orders in that way. A lot of us have just lost the personal touch of things, and it can be a little intimidating, but that's an idea.
Really like that. And I think touching on, just actually all that I could hear like in my head was like solve a problem, like solve the problem that so many women have. So I think making content in that general direction, because like I can when I have conversations with people, or I make a lot of my sales through my stories, things like that, I don't have any problem with that. It's just I don't right now, as I'm learning so much about my content and I'm trying to recreate my content to look good, to attract people, to do all of that, I don't want to be throwing in like spammy posts. So I think just making them more personal and showing how they solve a problem
Yeah, no,
would be good.
it's all about problem solving. It doesn't
Yeah.
it does not matter what you sell. It really does not. I mean, somebody needs something. There's a gap. You fill the gap with what that product, that service, that insight, whatever it is. So for instance, what comes to mind for me is I remember a while back, and I've been following you for probably 2 or 3 years by now. But a big thing with you, and then there was someone else, and she may be with the same company. I cannot remember her name for the life of me. But she suffered with acne, like scars and stuff. And she fell in love with the makeup that she promotes. And again, it may be the same company. I cannot remember. And she tells that story of the confidence that this line has given her. And she would show up and talk about that. Talk about, getting picked on or feeling insecure, or like, and tied emotion to the products to the point that people are just like, how do you, like, you pretty much bottled confidence up, but the way that she would dissect it and tell her story and her testimony while she put her makeup on or in her post, and it created such a magnetism for other women who were struggling with skincare or feeling like they wanted to cover up some old scars, or they made that connection, and she did really well. And so I would just always focus on the psychology and helping, so that servant attitude. Because if you can tie in, like, why do you love these products? Why do you really love them? It's not just because they smell good, or they make you feel a little pretty. Like, there's another reason. Like, there's that little child. We're all just little girls grown up. There's that little justice that needs to come out in the content. Those insecurities, those those thoughts that a lot of us have as women, as to, well, it's just that vicious cycle of thoughts. And so products and the things that you're using, I'm sure that they've given you some confidence. They've, in a sense, and I don't mean this like you're ever unattractive, but we as women, like, I mean, we could put on like this top or pair of earrings, or like a tan for some reason. Like, it just makes us feel sexy and a little bit more attractive. So I would create content from that place, from that heart space, and like you said, solve the problem. But you could still talk about the products, but not in like that stock image, 15% off, get it before it's gone type of way.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. You've just started like generating so many ideas for me. So
Well, good deal. So, if you're able to stick around, even if you're not, I'm still going to do this. But let me look at your stuff real quick. I do know you've grown exponentially. Let's see. But I'm also going to, since no one's here at the moment, I thought it would be really good to go over a little bit of organic lead generation strategy, because inside the Magnetic Marketing Academy, I teach all of that too. So what I mean by that is we can create content all day, but if we're not keeping an ongoing flow of new eyeballs on our content, it won't work, because we can't keep showing it to the same, 5 people, or our mom, friends, and people that just come and check on us because they love us. We have to like have an actual strategy. So this posted really, really well.
Yes, it did.
How many, and for anybody watching the replay, this was a connection post. So Justice got super vulnerable here, talking about feeling like Winnie the Pooh, which is so, God, it's so relatable. And it did really well. Her picture's great. She stayed within her brand colors, which seemed to be like tans and browns and blacks, and just kind of but also an airiness to it. But as y'all see, like the engagements there, she got shares. Like this, shares is huge. When people start to share your stuff, you know it's working. Okay. I love that you're incorporating video too, because people learn in different ways is a big thing. So, even though the videos don't seem to be getting a lot of reach right now, I still think it's super important, because when you put them in your strategy and you don't just have written pieces, you're speaking to an entirely different audience. Because, for instance, I will not go and read a bunch of stuff. I've been open about this. I have reading comprehension difficulties. I think I'm ADHD. I've not went to the doctor to be diagnosed. But so when you have different formats is the word, formats of content, you're kind of making sure that you're touching all the bases. So, and not to mention video builds such a strong know, like, and trust factor, because people sit there and they can get a vibe for your energy. They'll read you in about 3 seconds, be like, am I interested? Do I feel like, we would connect in real life? And so you get to show personality and character through that. So I think it's important that you have that as well. 3 things you need to know about that before diving into network marketing. And this is a really great credibility piece. These how-tos are really good. 84, 17 comments and 1 share. Who shared? Nope, it wasn't a public share. So that means it's someone who protected their timeline, but that's good. So that kind of content right there is duplicatable, meaning it's something that people want to share, especially if they're in that kind of world. It becomes one of those pieces that it's kind of like an article when you share an article or a blog. And so I love that. God, you're just getting really good. I love that you put that out there. And what happens is it's free advertisement for you. So it's really important to have that credibility content, those how-tos, those client testimonials, those videos and free trainings, because it's something that a lot of people can learn from. And when other people share it, it puts you in front of an entirely different audience. This is a good character piece, or I call true engagement. So just some quote. It can even be somebody else's quote, y'all. Maybe you found something, like I know a lot of us will do like a Google search for inspirational quotes or something like that. And what I see a lot of people do, they'll go to images. I assume you can still see this. I hope so. And then what I swear 9 out of 10 people do? They go and they save this dang picture and they crop it, or some people just save it entirely and then go post it to their timeline. One, these things are coded. you know what HTML codes are or anything like that. These things are coded, and so when you go and you put it on your timeline, you're screwing your algorithm up, one, because it's already out in the internet world. It has its own address, like built into the picture. Think of it as like a footprint. And they'll post it, or they'll crop it, save it as their own, and then post it, which is cheating the system if you like screenshot and then crop. But what you should really do is just take the quote and then, I hate this dang screen. It won't let me go back. And
I
then,
was totally guilty of that.
yeah, a lot of us do it. Where am I trying to get? There we go. But what you really need to do is you just go and recreate it yourself with similar to this. So Justice's colors are, like we said, browns, whites, blacks. It looks like to me a lot of earth tones. And then you just make it your own. People are not going to go and like Google it and see if you stole it from somebody. So I think it all looks good. How are you feeling about it though?
Honestly, I'm feeling really good. I feel like I've connected with a lot more people than I have in the past. And I feel like my content is flowing. Like before I started the little mini mind, like I was just hitting a roadblock and I wasn't able to produce content that I felt was really authentic. It wasn't coming to me. And now just getting out a couple good posts that I've seen the engagement on, and I've had the conversations with people and interacted and connected, just doing that alone has just created a flow. And so I'm constantly getting new ideas, and I took your advice, and I mean, as soon as I get an idea, I stop what I'm doing and I'm writing it out, or if I can't, I'll use my voice memos. And that has really helped a lot, because hold on one second. Sorry, my dog just jumped the fence.
You're okay. Is he okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She does it all the time. But it really has helped a lot because it's just flowing more.
Yeah, Kristen, before you hopped on, she was saying how she feels like she actually knows what to write next versus before she was presented with the breakdown and with the strategy, the magnetic content strategy, that she didn't feel like she knew what was coming next. Like it kind of feels like throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping it'll stick because there's no clear roadmap, until you have a strategy in place. So it gives you a little bit of guidance. You always know if you plan to stick by it and touch base, have let's say 4 to 5 pieces a week go out, well, you know that you have to have a character piece. You have to have a connection piece. You have to have, what's another one? Conversion piece. And you have to have a missing one, credibility. That way you always have, there's structure. There's like a framework. So you're not guessing on, well, what should I talk about next? And if you continue to write down all those ideas and record them, that's your vault. You now have ideas to pull from. So you're not sitting here like, well, what should I write about next? Or like, what should this reel be about? Or you have ideas already packed away. Then it's just a matter of sitting your ass down and like actually doing it, right? Some things that really work. So you have your ideas. You have like what I call a content vault. All the content's there. You're just kind of adding the fluff. If you have that content vault and you have the strategy, you're writing from one of the 4 C's every day, then really all you need is like maybe some inspiration. And so one of the easiest things you can do is just go look at people that you look up to, that you kind of want your brand to be similar. You feel some similarities there. Go see what kind of content they're creating and use that as inspiration. Obviously, don't copy everything, but there's no harm in, if I were to see your feeling like Winnie the Pooh post, there's no reason that I couldn't take that and go and say feeling like a hot balloon and talk about how I've been bloated here recently and how, breastfeeding and still figuring out how to not overeat is a challenge. Like that would invoke an idea in me that would be more like I could kind of shift it around and sculpt it around my situation. So that's a really good way to stay in the flow, is to continue to like only follow people who inspire you, not people that like trigger you or put you out of your vibration. But I really like to just go look at other people's stuff, and I'm like, oh, I like that. Never would have thought to like make a carousel about that topic. Or reels. Do you do reels at all?
So, I actually used to be very active on my Instagram and on Reels, to the point where I was like training teams how to do Reels. And then when I lost that creative flow, truthfully, it was when I got pregnant. I got pregnant and everything stopped for me. And I was kind of like going through almost like an identity crisis, like trying to figure out where I was at, and quitting my job and then starting the Mini Mind and doing that really helped me kind of bring back the creativity for my Facebook. And I know I could also incorporate my Instagram, but it's just I haven't hit that point of, okay, yes, I'm ready to rebuild my Instagram. I need to, but I haven't had like that creativity of creating a reel. I'm hitting a block there still. And right now, like my Instagram it's just a mess. It's all over the place. Almost to the point where I thought about just completely restarting over and like creating a whole new Instagram, because it's just, you can definitely tell I was trying to figure out what I wanted my brand to be on Instagram for quite some time. And now it's been so long since I've actually like been active. I mean, I'll post something here and there, but it's not anything like it should be.
Okay, I'd like to look over your Instagram in a minute, and I can tell you probably in just a few minutes if you should start a new one or not. Because I had a few thousand followers, and I had shifted so many times that the audience was not remotely aligned. So whenever I finally decided like what my online presence was going to be, the kind of person I'm helping, my business, all that stuff, there was a complete disconnect. My stuff wasn't getting seen. They were like, things were not performing very well, and so I took the advice of my business coach and I just started over. So now I only have a couple of hundred followers, but they're so connected, like they're so aligned. They like the support and the comments and the engagement, all of that. It beats the thousands of followers. So sometimes we do just have to start over, because I think it's really like within the first few weeks, or probably a month at the most, those follows and those connections that you make it's kind of deciding the whole trajectory of the kind of people you'll attract. And so if there's a big disconnect because you've shifted or something like that, it's almost worth just starting over so that you get the right audience.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like a lot of my audience on Instagram is more or less just like old friends from high school, friends in general, which is great. But then also like I don't feel the connection there by no means. Yeah. Like I do not get the connection on Instagram that I get on Facebook. And I am more active on Facebook, and Facebook has been like, I have really focused my time on Facebook. It was not until probably about a year ago that I really started shifting into Instagram. Like back onto Instagram. And so I don't know. I've considered starting over. I know, what is it? Is it Brock Johnson?
Yes.
Yes. I know he suggests sometimes like starting over, like, and he has a whole list of reasons why you should. And I've kind of gone over them a few times, but I'm not opposed to starting over because I do know that it can really create, like, it can get your account back out there. And I feel like I know my brand better now. Whereas if you go through my Instagram, I mean, go through a couple months and you can definitely tell that I was just hopping all over the place and I was not sure what I wanted to present.
Yeah. We can look at that. I'm trying to, I guess you cannot, this is aggravating me. I'm trying to find this lady's reels. I wanted to show them to you. Or here, just, let me send it in the chat. I want you to check out this woman. She's a mom. Um, she is with Ariel. Have you heard of them?
I don't know.
Okay, it's another network marketing company. She got in on, she was asked to come in on the ground level. And she has built, whenever Facebook Reels started popping, she got big quick. I think it's all the tattoos and just the way she presents herself. Like, she's got this interesting look and she works out. She's obviously gorgeous and she cashes in on that. But check out her reels. So the reason I say this is because she has her, typical like workout reels, and like she bounces her booty and stuff like that, which is really funny. But so she like touches base on all the confidence and the physique building and stuff like that as a mom. But now that she has like a great following, she incorporates like the products too. But she does it in a very, like, I guess, sexy, mysterious way, which wouldn't be your um the way you would present yourself. But she doesn't like shove it down your throat type thing. She puts it there and she like leaves some little like some text, talking about it a little bit. But she has generated a lot of sales that way by, utilizing reels on Facebook, especially. Um, do you know if you have the professional mode of Facebook or if you just have the personal regular account?
On Facebook, I don't believe that I have a professional mode.
Okay, we need to switch that. I'm going to show you something. Let me see if I can. This is also something you could look up too, I'm sure. Damn it. Are you able to look at your phone right now?
Yes.
Okay, let's just do it this way. So if you're looking at the Facebook app, tap menu.
Okay.
Hold on. What do you see like at the very, hold on. Maybe that's it. Okay. So when you're on that next screen, you see up top by your name where there's like a little gear?
Yeah.
Tap that and go see what all that says. See if there's like a business or a professional mode version or anything. Do you see anything? Profile settings, maybe. No. Okay, we won't waste time on this, but I'm gonna find a good tutorial for you.
Okay.
So now you have the option to have a professional mode. Do you have professional mode on Instagram too, or just a regular?
Yes.
Okay, so then you know what I mean when I say like you see insights and a dashboard.
Right.
Okay, well Facebook now has that too, to where you can see insights.
Okay.
which is really helpful because you can see which posts are performing. You can see like the reach. But, and this is why I'm getting at this, is for people like you and for people like doing the health and wellness or anything network marketing, beauty, stuff like that, Facebook and Instagram will pay you for your reels. So it's if when you get into the professional mode of Facebook, if you especially have not had like a bunch of dings or been put in Facebook jail, they haven't given me the option yet, but they give you the option to make money with your reels. So it gives you a lot of incentive to start doing reels because you'll get
Yeah.
like the more views you get, the more you get paid. So like that account I was showing you a second ago, Jenna's, she's obviously getting paid. She's got 43,000 followers, and but like whenever I first met her online, she had like 3,000 friends. Like all it takes is like a few videos. I don't know why it won't show me her reels, but it takes a few videos and you have a built-in income. So she'll hop on here and like do reels with her like gummies and stuff. But I would just check it out and see if you have that option because it could, one, just be another little bit of income. But two, it could ultimately sell your products too. You were talking about how you didn't want to come off spammy talking about products, right? So reels and like TikTok and stuff, people are buying a lot of stuff directly from videos.
Yeah, definitely. I know how good reels are and can be. It's just the matter of like getting me back into doing them. And I know some girls who get paid for their reels.
Yeah.
I just haven't. Well, I don't have the professional mode, and I haven't been given that option yet. So
Well, let's look at your account real quick. Oh, I'm getting hungry. So do you feel like when you post on here, you kind of just post to post?
So what would happen is towards like those first few ones that you looked at, absolutely. That was just like, okay, I need to post something on Instagram. It's been a while and I'm just going to post whatever. But there was a time where I was like really invested in like branding myself one way. And so I felt like things were flowing a little bit better, or I knew what I was wanting to post. I knew what like the audience I was trying to reach. And then like that would just die off and it would be gone. And then I'd start from something new. I'd go for a different type of audience, or I don't know how to explain it. Because for a while I was doing good. And like I was active. I felt like I kind of had a good niche or brand, and then that stopped.
Well, I think you're being hard on yourself. It's all still under like the same umbrella of entrepreneurship. Your trainings and stuff. Thinking about all the time I spent stressing over hashtags. Like, I mean, this is credibility type stuff. It's still teaching. You're still talking to network marketers, are you not?
Yeah, I am, but that was so long ago. It's like that stopped, and then
All right, how long ago are we talking? October of 2021. It's not that long ago. All right. Well, how are these people on your when you do post? Okay, you have 1,200, and you're following. So that's good. What's your story like? Is this just what you put on? Okay, they're synced.
Yeah.
I think. How do I get out?
The X on the right.
Yeah. Well, I think my can't like our faces are covering up spots of the screen. This is what I would do. I would give it a couple of weeks. I would start posting the content that you're posting on Facebook, and I would post that on your grid.
Mm-hmm.
Test it. Actually, make an effort the way you are on Facebook, and it's just a matter of copy and paste.
Right.
If your content is 2,000 characters or less, it's automatically fine for Instagram. But anything over that, you'd have to put into a comment,
Right.
continue reading type thing. Which Preform helps with all that, so that it would still be spaced in the comments as long as you copy and paste it from there. But I would experiment. I give it a couple of weeks and see how it's going. And if you're like, you just feel like you're talking to a wall, I would start a new one.
Okay.
That's what I do. Because, you have good stuff. And what I like about this is it shows that you've been around a while and that you've been working the business for a while. That's what I like. Versus, starting a new one. You're not going to have all this to go back and look at, but it may be worth it. You may be like, these numbers, just nothing's happening.
Right.
And then another recommendation I would give you for your stories, since are you recording them on Instagram?
Yeah, so I record everything on Instagram, and I just post them on Instagram just because it's easier. And honestly, I don't like the way that Facebook formats everything. And
I don't like it either.
It's so it's the free version. I feel like
you'd think it would be the same, but it's not.
I know.
Okay, so for your stories, and I've seen them here and there, but start implementing polls more. Polls and this little ask me a question thing. And then the quizzes and stuff like that. And I think maybe it's you, maybe it's somebody else. But do you ever utilize the countdown clock?
I have a few times in the past. And really, I'm glad that you said that, because I used to do that a lot more. I used to do polls, the questions, things like that. And I stopped. I haven't used them. So that's a good reminder for me. But I've done the countdown a few times, usually for a sale or if something personal is going on or something like that.
Yeah. So for sure use those, especially over the next 2 weeks. A couple of things it does. One, it's going to help, your algorithm. It's going to show that people are engaging with you. But two, it's going to show you if your content is actually, if anybody's receptive.
Mm-hmm.
Give you an idea of who is paying attention. And if it's if it's not the kind of person that you would want to work with or be around, it's going to also let you know that. But mostly it's going to be able to test to see if your Instagram is getting the eyeballs that your Facebook is. And if you're just not getting any engagement and you find that it's not working on Instagram, but all the engagement's coming from Facebook, because when you vote, it'll go into your Facebook Messenger or whatever. It's gonna let you know. You'll be able to gauge if if you should just start fresh or not.
Okay, I'll definitely do that. I'll start focusing on that and kind of just keeping an eye on it. Because I haven't gotten back into Instagram, and I have been thinking about it really since I started the Mini Mind. I've just been kind of thinking okay, I need to get back into Instagram. But I just haven't yet. So, and
Yeah.
I've also been kind of on the fence of like, should I just start over or, yeah. So I'll definitely try that. See where it goes.
Usually, I wind up telling someone that they need to change. They just need to start over. But yours feels like a unique situation. I feel like it's salvageable based on the content that you show, like you've shown me. It'd be different if you started out, like fucking selling pickles or something, and then you switched to makeup. You know.
Right.
So, okay. Can you see this screen? Women helping women entrepreneurs.
Yes.
What's her name? It's Emma. Okay. I'm curious. How are you finding new people to connect with so that you have a constant flow of new eyeballs on your content?
Really, the only thing I'm doing is just adding new friends and making sure that I'm engaging with new people on a regular basis. I am in groups, and I'm active in certain groups. So like I have groups that kind of like pertain to who I am. And I'll add friends from there or start conversations with people from there, but not a whole lot.
Okay. All right. So then we will close this out with if I can find this dang post. There's this post that here, we'll just look. All right. So this is a part that a lot of people struggle with, and this is honestly something that I teach more like one-on-one when we work together, and help you stay accountable for it. But a lot of people think that you post your content, they post and they pray. They pray that the right person sees it, that somehow, it just gets in front of the right person. When the reality is we have to go out there and we have to find people to show it to. And it doesn't mean go out there and bug the crap out of somebody like, hey, look at my stuff, or hey, did you know that I'm in business, or those hey girl messages. None of that. What's important is that we're finding people who actually align with the kind of people we want to work with, the kind of people that we want to sell to, the kind of people that we would want in our community. So what I like to do is I go inside groups. One, something that you should start doing as well, you need to find 3 groups. This one, Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs, you cannot post in here really unless you pay to post. I used to have a membership for that, and it can be worth it. I think that it's become oversaturated. But so something like this is not good for posting your content, but it's really good for finding women to connect with, who are of like mind and see the value in things that you see the value in, because the whole thing is built around entrepreneurship. But for instance, one thing that you should start doing with your content is, what is going on today? There we go. Is take that content and find 3 groups that you really resonate with. So for me, this is one of my friends' groups, and I love it so much. It has a really good built-in audience. So she encourages users to post their content. So I go in here, and if you were to look me up, you'll see that I take the same content, as long as it's not selling, I'll post it in other people's groups, unless like they have like a sell me something Saturday or something like that. They may create a thread or let you post on your own. For instance, on Fridays in my group, Female Fearless and Badass, you can promote yourself as much as you want to. You can go live, you can, share a promotional post, you can like whatever, sell your stuff. But part of your strategy should be to take the content. So we're talking about connection pieces, credibility pieces, stuff like that. Unless it's like a client testimonial, they may not want that. But like this credibility pieces, like, things to do, or 5 things to not do in a network marketing company, or how to sell in DMs, or something like that, or those vulnerability pieces, or those character pieces even. That don't have a clear call to action, like DM me to work with me or something like that. you can take those pieces of content and find 3 groups, and I would just stick with 3, no more than 5 groups. Take the content you already posted on your timeline, so like that one about direct sales or network marketing, stuff like that would have been really good to post somewhere like this, because it creates you're creating a position of authority and expertise. You're exposing yourself to a group of women who are looking for tips, who are in a way looking for guidance, and it's a free way and a great way to build really good connections, because they may see your stuff and just fall in love with you and fall down your rabbit hole and then want to work with you. But you never would have known about them until you got into that group, until you got into that person's energy, until you got in front of their audience. So we can repurpose the content we have, and we can go and we can post it in these groups. Where is I was trying to find myself in here. Can't tell if it's just moving slow. All right. So for instance, in my group, you will see this woman over and over and over again, because I like for people to post their content in my group. It's less work for me. Honestly, there are people who will not connect with me, but they may connect with you. And so I think that it's a really great way for us to all come together and kind of keep the fine oiled machine running. So you can find these groups and you can take your content, post them in there. So what I recommend for my clients, I'm trying to find one of my posts, but what I recommend for my clients is pick 3 to 5 groups that, here's one of them, that have like an aligned audience. You feel that you could connect with those people in there, you could add value to their lives and to their businesses, but also, you have to make sure that it's people that that have the same mindset as you. So like these entrepreneur groups are really great to go post your content in. So I go and I post my credibility content here, right? And it gives me just another, I feel like I'm positioning myself as an expert in this. So this could very well reach this lady right here, but I never would have known she existed otherwise. So I do that. So what you do is you take your content, post it. You spend about 5 minutes in a group. You go and you comment on some people's stuff. So we'll go and like Amanda's stuff. I could leave a comment, right? Go and really engage for a few minutes. That way you're not just dumping your, like they call it, post and ghost. Don't do that. But you're also becoming more visible. So it's really big in branding. Like the only way that you're going to continue to sell and continue to make money is if you put yourself in front of new people. It really is a numbers game. So I strongly recommend posting stuff in other groups, but what I also wanted to show you was a good way to find prospects is to go into a group. So let's piggyback off of the engaging and adding value to the community, and then go into the mode of, okay, well, who can I put my stuff in front of? And maybe it'll help, and maybe they'll need my services, or maybe they'll connect with my content. Like, who can I nurture that is my ideal client? So you can go to these groups and you can find, so this one, for instance, this would be a good one for me, because I help coaches, but I also help people in all kinds of other businesses master magnetic marketing, so that like your content does the heavy lifting, that people know, like, and trust you, right? So I like to go into these and I'll find posts where I feel like my ideal client could be hanging out. What I do is I go in here and I'll read comments. All right, I'm an artist and graphic designer, photographer, videographer, and editor, and have a handcrafted vegan skincare line for sensitive problem skin. So what I could do is I could go check this lady's profile out, look at it, and see if she looks like she's struggling with content, struggling with her marketing. Like, what business that has content online couldn't use my services to create such magnetic marketing that when people see it, they're just like, all right, just here's my money. Like, that's the idea. So you go and you can find tons of leads based on other people's content. What you don't do is you don't go and comment on their thing. Like, you don't go to that post. I would never go and like it. I would never go and comment it, because then you're not attracting them to you. Okay? Then you're needy. Then you're desperate. So, but I go and strategically pick out the people that I want to look at. Wrong one. And I see if it looks like something I could help. This, like, if her see right now so far, her content is other people tagging her a bunch of stuff, which builds some credibility, but see, what is this? Oh, it's a little portrait. Okay. So this must be her style. I don't know. But so far, I'm not impressed. So far, this does not make me want to buy from her. So far, I don't feel magnetized, right? So what I would do is I'd go like some of her things. This is how we get our friend requests accepted. This is how it doesn't come off as spammy. Let's go find it. And they're more inclined to accept your friend request if they see your name pop up in their notifications, because we get friend requests all day long. So this is a really, really good way, and you need to do this every day. I would say Monday through Friday. Dedicate 20 minutes or so to just finding people who you feel like would fit on your team, would benefit from your services, who have a problem that you can help solve. And then the next level of that is actually keeping up with the work that you're doing, how much time you're spending on social media. I honestly think you should only spend maybe 45 minutes engaging each day. Maybe. You could probably get away with 15, 20. But then tracking how many friend requests you're sending out, how many follows how many people you're following. That way you can track and see, okay, this is how many people I'm making connections with, or I'm sending connections out to. This is how many people accepted. It becomes a numbers game, and when it comes to money and business, and it's all numbers. And so from there, you're able to see how well your content's performing. Okay, and one thing that, Justice, I've noticed with you is, I bet you have not went. You'll learn all this inside MMA whenever you get in, but I bet you haven't went through all of these people and sent them a message, or connected through their stories, or went and liked all their stuff and all that. Have you done any of that? Like, you keep up with all these likes and stuff and make sure that you're staying in their notifications, kind of thing?
No, definitely not. I mean, I'm active on stories. I make sure that every day I go through my stories, and I, send messages and connect with them that way, but not with people who like or comment or anything like that. Like, I don't go to my posts and then go to their profile and engage with them.
Sweet. So now that's something that you'll know to do, because these are kind of like a hand raise, in my opinion. And so I recommend, people that are taking their time to come, participate in a way, like they're showing you that they're interested in. Maybe they're only interested in your photo. Maybe they're only interested in the tips that you offer. But whatever it is, it would be nice to be able to connect with them on the next level, and just say, hey, how are you doing? Or, I don't know. I don't know what you would talk about, but kind of see it as like them raising their hands, and just go through and make contact. So maybe you just go to Micah's timeline and just like a few things. I don't know. but try to keep your name in a way in their notifications. So the more you connect with these people, the more Facebook is going to send more people like that to you. But it goes right back to you're getting in front of their audience. So, I mean, you liking something on that person's timeline could open up the gateway for one of their friends saw that Justice Enlow liked Micah's picture, and then they go and they're intrigued by you. They go and they check your stuff out. Then they fall down the rabbit hole, and they're like, they happen to be your ideal client. And so it's a numbers game. But if you have all those likes and all those comments and stuff, those are going to be the easiest ones to connect with versus some stranger, because they've already kind of let you know that they're interested in what you're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So now would this fall into like that 45 minutes that you would spend on like engaging?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have spreadsheets. And everything for all this so that you can track it. Honestly, what I do is I take like a notebook and I'll just keep up with it for a number of days, and then I'll go fill in my spreadsheet. But like I know that I want to make about at least I think our goal. It sounds like a lot. It really does. But if you think about follows and just sending the friend requests, it's not that much. It doesn't take a lot of time. But I think the goal that my coach has for me is like 150 new connections a week, because only about 20% of them will accept or follow back. And those 20 or 30% that connect and follow back, only a certain percentage of them are actually going to convert and book a sales call with you or want to be in the DMs with you or be interested in working with you. And so whenever you hit all these numbers, like the law of percentages and just how mathematics works, you'll start to see like a steady interest in what it is you're doing, whether it be you booking beauty consultations, whether it be just that little survey we talked about, whether it be sales calls, something like that. But it really just becomes at that point a numbers game. So about 45 minutes a day should do it. I don't know what that equates to in a week. It's like what, 200 and if we're talking about minutes, 225 minutes a week if you break it up that way. But yeah, going through and going on your timeline, just like we were just there, going through and really like going through these people and connecting with them, liking their stuff, sending a message, interacting in their stories, stuff like that is part of the 45 minutes. You just don't want to get too caught up on like one account. Like you want to just make kind of like you're going out and just waving to everybody. Like I made the connection, now I'm gonna go type thing.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm trying to think of what else I can leave y'all with before I go. Let's close it out with conversations. So, for instance, let's go to my timeline. A big part of magnetic marketing is, yes, you're going to have people messaging you. Like I'll wake up to messages, especially when I have a really good vulnerability piece saying, that like I've been struggling, or mental health is something I talk a lot about, because it's something I've struggled with for years. But sure, you'll wake up to messages like, oh my gosh, you're my spirit animal. Like, I don't know how you got inside my head, da 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 da. But the other part of you having a strategy in place is that, connecting with people. So, like we were saying, for instance, these people. Let's see if I know. Oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Let's see. Oh, are you done? Don't take a bite out of it. That's dangerous. Don't. No. All right. Who's somebody I have not talked to? I think I just. Okay. Let's try this one. So we'll close it out with this. People, the idea of your content strategy is to get more eyeballs on your content, but it's not a matter of like, you can't wait for everybody to come and message you. Will you get people to message you? Absolutely. But part of it is making that content so that it attracts people so that you can go and connect with them. Okay, it doesn't mean going out and trying to sell them on the first message or anything like that. But for instance, this woman sent me a friend request. I don't know how she found me or where she found me. But it's all about like striking up conversation. So when someone sends you a friend request, it's the politest thing to do is to write them and say, hey, thanks so much for adding me. How are you? Something like that, something real genuine. Normally they'll come back, and if they sent you the friend request, especially, when I send friend requests, I do not send a message. I want to put that out there. The idea is to not add 50 people a day and send out messages saying, hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. Here's my free community. Here's my free shit. It's to send the friend request, like their stuff, love on them for a few days, and do it in a really natural way. Okay. So she sent me a friend request. I don't know where she found me, like I said. But she says, hello, Jacqueline, you're welcome. Happy to connect. How are you doing? I was sick at the time, so I was honest about that. I'm doing much better. I've been sick. How about you? And she said she was excited for the weekend, and I was like hustling and bustling, so I sent her a quick message saying, weekends sound great, but it's pretty busy around here. I need a weekend away from my kids is essentially what I was saying, and she sent me one back. And so here we are. So I want to show you all how I have conversations. Okay, so this person has come into my world based on my content, I'm sure. We could go and check out her timeline. This is really, really, really recommended as well. Y'all, please, take the time to see what people are about, okay, before you go and try to see if you can help them. So she may not even be a good fit. Helping coaches and solopreneurs who want to build or grow their businesses from 0 to 6 figures, 6 figures to 7 figures on autopilot, selling my digital breakthrough system. Maybe I could help her, actually. She has a digital breakthrough system. Her engagement's okay. All right, look at her. What makes you get out of bed every morning? This is one of those, I call it a clickbait post, okay? So it's you're trying to get people to talk, and it's usually not in the most authentic way. It's like how do you make the best easy to peel eggs or some shit like that. It's obvious it's a prompt, and so I actually could help her. So she said I think, wound up not feeling too well. So this is how we have natural conversations and create magnetism. I'm nurturing a relationship, and what'll happen is she'll continue to digest my content, okay? She will continue to check in. She'll continue to like my stuff until she gets to the point where she's like, I need your services, because it really does get to be that easy if you release the timeline and commit to the results. So we've built rapport. I was sick. She was sick. I told her to get better. All right. Now I'm going to just write her and be real genuine. Hey, Asmay, just wanted to check in on you and see how your weekend was. I want to work in business some way as well to try to find out how's business going, right? So I wanted to check in with you and see how your weekend was. I'm over here working biz as usual. How are things on your end? So that's a really natural way of bringing business up. I'm over here working on my business as usual, but how are things on your end? Okay. I think a lot of us have a really hard time figuring out how to work in conversation. And it's simple. You ask questions, you build rapport, okay? Build the rapport. You don't want to build rapport to the point that they're like, we're best friends already and they'll never work with you. You don't want to get friend zone. But you build the rapport, okay? You ask the right questions to qualify them, all right? And then once you ask the questions and you feel like, and you can tell, if somebody's really closed off, you may ask 2 questions and it's not going to do anything to ask a 3rd question. So what you do then, because you need to read their vibe and you need to just, y'all aren't stupid. You're not naive. You know when somebody doesn't want to talk to you and you know when they do. People will pour their hearts out to you. And so really use your judgment whenever you connect with these people, whenever you go into, your profile and you notice that so-and-so is liking everything. That's like them raising their hand. They are now a raving fan, and it should be quite simple to get into their inbox and form a connection because they probably already know, like, and trust you. But the problem is figuring out how to start the conversation. And so many of y'all overthink it, and it's just as simple, hey, what's up? Notice all the love on my content. How are you? And then it's just a series of questions. And you need to think of questions as qualifiers. And I mean, you're finding out what their problems are. Can you help them with their problems? If you can't help them with their problems, the most reputable and best thing to do would be to point them in the direction of someone who can help their problems. Okay? Don't get greedy and think that you have to pressure them into working with you or that you have to hold on to them because you're not going to have any more fresh leads. So really use your best judgment and just let the conversation flow. But if they're standoffish, just leave them alone. Continue to love on them, nurture them, okay? Whether it be in your Facebook group, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be your content on your timeline, whatever it is, just continue to nurture them because they may not be ready right now, but that's not to say that they won't be ready later on. So that kind of ties everything together. Obviously, let's let Jackie in. Maybe Jackie will have some questions for us. Hey, Jackie. What I was going over is I was just tying in conversations with the content strategy, which is it's really, really important to be able to have conversations because the more people we get in front of, the more people we can qualify and see if we can help, see if, we have the solution to their problems. But a lot of us rely on the content strategy alone. True or not true? We think that if we post that they'll just reach out to us all on their own. When the reality is some people we have to kind of like we have to go and open the door for them instead of thinking that they'll just open the door on their own and come in and ask for our help. Jackie, can you hear me?
Hi, hello. Yes, I can hear you. Wait, I'm going to join, okay?
But Justice, how did that all, because odds are you're not having enough conversations. And I think if you were to have more conversations and strike up the conversations, I think that your team would grow exponentially because a lot of people are scared to approach you. I mean, you wouldn't think that. You don't think it yourself as intimidating, but when you establish like an online presence, especially when it comes to your pictures are flawless. Like, you're so beautiful. They may feel intimidated. And so I'm curious if that kind of made it less intimidating and kind of simplified the outreach portion of messaging because it's not about cold DMs. But I mean, if they start, most people do start cold, right? And the really, I think, art of conversation and sales is being able to take a stranger who ultimately you really don't know them. Odds are they know more about you because you're so visible and put it out there. But being able to take them from that cold space to, wanting to work with you, did that at all feel less like slimy? And I just can't stand like a greasy salesman. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely. And it definitely showed me some things that I need to work on. And I feel comfortable enough working on them. So, yeah, definitely. I think that having, and I know the importance of having those conversations, but it can be difficult whenever you're trying to connect with someone who's from that cold space. So, yeah, I appreciate that. And I think that will definitely help generate some leads.
Yep. The way I like to explain it, because DMs have such a bad reputation, and I'm going against all defying odds, and I'm changing that. Someone really good to follow, ladies, if you can look this up real quick, is one of my really good friends. Her name is Lauren Nahar. I'll type it in the chat. But she is like the queen of selling in the DMs, because she doesn't come off salesy at all. She never mentions business or anything in the beginning. She genuinely has, she just has conversations with you. She never tried to sell me. Well, like, we built such a relationship that I wound up working with her in her agency doing her copywriting. Like, she figured out that her services won't help me at this time, but she found another way to help me, and I found a way to help her. But it was all through this organic relationship building. I never once felt pressured. And so they're scary. It's scary to get into the DMs and to send those personal messages. But if you really do it the right way, your content is in place, you're touching on all those 4 C's. So you've built that know, like, and trust factor with your online presence, because the first thing people do when they see a friend request is they go and they look at your timeline and they see if it adds value, if they feel like you're spammy tammy, or if you're a robot or something like that. So when you have all these things in place, and then you go out and you actually form aligned connections, and then you reach out to them in a way that is just natural, through the stories, oh my God, I love your lipstick type thing. It's not even going to register in their minds that you're trying to sell to them, because you're not. You're just trying to see if you can add value to their lives. Okay? So it makes it way, in my opinion, more comfortable. And as someone who's an introvert, I'm extremely introverted, an empath. If anybody knows anything about human design, I'm also a projector, but I'm extremely, I have social anxiety. So it was deep rooted in me, especially after It Works being my very first MLM. They're the queen of Hey Girl Nation, and they show all the ways to do it the wrong way. It was deeply rooted in me, and I was really terrified of ever cold messaging anybody. But it's really not that bad if your heart is in the right place. If you're not trying to sell them, and you're really just trying to help them, and maybe helping them is just being an ear, and like maybe they just need somebody to talk to that day, and you're actually listening with every fiber of your being, instead of, ooh, how can I make money off this person, or ooh, how can I get another team member. No, my messy baby, he's such a mess, gosh. It'll just make it so much easier, and people can feel the energy behind the message too. So he's been nursing this whole time, but here he is. You'll go say hi. I'm a mess.
Hi.
You're so cute.
Thank you. Thank you. But we went over a lot, Jackie. I know that you just hopped on, but do you have any questions?
Hi.
Uh-oh, he's a flirt. You showed your face.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
He's gonna flirt with you.
By the way, I have a question. Like, where anyway, thanks for making this group up. Where do you actually do your your what's that, contracts?
Contracts? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Like like when you sign, when you have your clients, right? Where do you do your contracts?
Are we talking about like a contract, like we're working together and they're signing it?
Yes, like working together like that.
Okay, so are you asking at what point in the process do you present the contract?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I actually, I can send it to you. I have like a workflow that I use that kind of lays it all out that is inside the Magnetic Marketing Academy, but I can send it to you if you would like it. It's like a whole roadmap from the beginning, like of where you find them, like from the point of they connect through your content up to the point that they hop on a sales call. So are you utilizing sales calls?
I'm sorry.
Are you utilizing sales calls for your services to sell them?
Yes, I do. Like I've had meetings with my clients on groups and such. So
Okay. So, just so I can make sure I'm giving you the best answer, your question is when do I present the contract for them to sign to legally bind them to work with me?
yeah, yes. Where do you?
So, once you have your sales call, okay, and this isn't really marketing strategy and all this, this was more like this is business strategy and what you would get from the business end of coaching if you chose to work with me. But so once I close someone in either the DMs or a sales call, I get a verbal commitment, like they're ready to go, or a written commitment, which is just saying I'm in or something like that. I ask for their email. At this point, if you've had a conversation through a sales call, you have their email at this point. But if it's in the DMs, I say, "Great! I'm so excited to work together. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to make lots of money, or whatever it is that I say." Do you want to get down? No, but you got down. Um, and all right, what I'll do is I'll tell them, "Okay, great. So, hey, you gotta be quiet." I'll say, all right, so after I get their email, great, I'm gonna send over, and I have like an onboarding questionnaire that I send to my clients, like to get an idea of their birthday and stuff like that, but as well as like where they're struggling in their business, where they want to see themselves in 6 months, stuff like that. But I'll send them a questionnaire, and then do you have a service called Sign Now?
Sign? No, I don't. I don't
Okay,
really.
so one thing that I found makes it super easy and really solidifies the deal, and it looks professional too, is there's something called Sign Now. Let me include it in here.
Sign now. Sign now. I
Hold
did
on, brother.
mine on when I'm sending proposals. I did mine on Indy, INDY.
And that's
But
proposals.
yeah, proposals or contracts. You know, it's really cheap. It's like $5 or $10, I think.
Okay, and what does that do exactly?
Like it's like I'm not sure if it's a CR because Kajabi is so expensive. It's like $300 or $500 a month. So with Indy, they do contracts, invoices. Um, Flow Track is also one. It's a one-time payment of like $200, and it's for life. And yeah, you'll have everything there. But yeah, that's where I do mine. But it's I don't know with Indy. I don't know why my proposals don't really like most of them don't really go through.
Okay, that's something I'd like to take a look at if you ever want to do like a private session or something. But so in Indy, can you send a contract over and all they have to do is like it highlights where they sign and they kind of tap it and it signs everything?
Yes, it'll be signed and everything's in there, and then you can see whether they read the contract or not. And then
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So
So
it's really nice.
you get off a sales call. They say, "I'm so excited to work together," right? One thing that's really great to do is to take a deposit to work with you to hold the space. That solidifies the deal. So,
Before sending them the proposal or
well, okay, you're working on proposals, so that's a little different.
Okay, most of them, but not really. Like I like to, like go on a sale. Cause this new profile, this new Facebook, I just created last year, but it's not really my professional. It's not really my personal Facebook. I just did it for networking, but I haven't really done anything on it. As you can see, right? Like my profile is like nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, well, if the proposals aren't really going through, then I would for sure look at that and figure out why they're not going through. Maybe come up with a few different packages. That way, when they're on the call, you can go ahead and close the deal there and ask for a deposit. That's what I would try to do, maybe. But
Yeah,
overall,
that's what's written on the proposal. There will be like a 50% down payment, blah blah blah, and then yeah.
but if the problem you're coming into contact with is once you send it over, they're not signing. There's a disconnect there.
Well,
So
there's this one coach, like there's this one coach, like she said, okay, I'm gonna go with you next week. And then I found out, I said, hey, it's been like months, and I found out that she actually hired another one. But like I think that she let her go for after 2 months, I think. But she gave me her word, and she didn't keep up to her word.
yeah,
Like she didn't sign the proposal or anything, but she just said, okay, I'll do it next week. Okay, we'll go over a Zoom call, blah blah blah. And she didn't really.
yeah.
I
Well,
really
don't.
find it unprofessional because I'm not like that. Like if I say I'm
Yeah.
gonna be there, no matter what happens, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
And
but that's gonna happen though. So you need to be able to fine tune like you have to fine tune your process. So if you're sending proposals, and that's a whole different thing.
one
Then
second.
that's a whole different thing than marketing and all of that. There's a leak somewhere in the process for them to not be signing with you. So one thing you could do is have these packages in place, already have an idea of what kind of package to offer them, offer it to them on the camera, and do it that way and get a deposit right there so that they can't go back on their
Yeah.
word. You could try that. Otherwise, I
Like,
mean, contracts, you send them once they obviously accept the proposal if you're going to do it that way, and you send it right over. Um, but it's really hard to give you like the complete right advice without seeing like how you carry yourself through the sales call, how long, like what your process is for sending the proposal, and what your process is like for sending the contract and all of that, which is way deeper than content creation and marketing and all of that. That's more, you need a business coach to figure out how to fix these problems so that you don't keep letting clients go through the cracks.
yeah, I know. What else? Yeah. I think I have to have my systems in place to, unless because I really don't know. Like I'm into marketing and sales, so I'm like transitioning to copywriting, but I haven't done really like any posts at all, like nothing.
Yeah,
So
you have nothing to like I told you, I think in the beginning, when I go to your timeline, I have no idea what you do. And
right.
that's that's your billboard space. That's where everybody who comes to your timeline is like, "Oh, okay, so Jackie's a marketer." Um, one thing that you really need to put out there are client testimonials from people who have already worked with you, but you also need
Mhm.
to create some credibility content. So give people tips on how to market themselves better. Give people tips on whatever it is that you like, whatever your business is, try to teach that in like little chunks through your
Little
content.
chunk.
Because what it'll do is it'll give them a quick win. They're like, oh,
Uh-huh.
great. So that gave me a quick win. Now I know how to do this. But the idea is to leave them wanting more and to book that call with
Mhm.
you. So you give them quick
They
wins.
actually said, I'm sorry. They
You go
actually
ahead.
said to give everything for free, but then sell the implementation of whatever you're selling.
Yeah, everybody has. I've seen it so many different ways. Give everything away for free. Well, then what are they going to pay for? Um,
Yeah.
That's why if you go back to the very beginning of the group of the magnetic mini mind group and that chat, and you kind of
Mm-hmm.
catch up and you look at that strategy, the breakdown,
Yeah.
the types of content to create. If you start following that, um, you're you're not giving everything away for free. Like you're very strategic about what you're talking
Right.
about to make them want to know more, so that you're attracting people to pay you because the
Mm-hmm.
strategy is in place so that they get hooked, so that they
Mm-hmm.
want to keep following your stuff and they want to work with you. So if you would start creating content that's a reflection of what it is you do with your business,
Right. Right.
it's going to people don't even know what you do based on your timeline. And
Yeah.
so I would get into some content creation mode. Don't put a lot of stress on yourself. It's real easy. It's the stuff that you don't even think twice about. Like the stuff that seems like a no-brainer to you, that's the stuff you need to write about because there's somebody else out there that's like, whoa, what? This woman's a genius. I never knew that. So
Mm-hmm.
your problem right now is visibility, and once you get super
Right.
visible and you remain consistent with that visibility, I think you'll
Mm-hmm.
start to see sales calls getting booked and people, you could probably close people in the DMs without even having to hop on a call if you get really, really clear on the kind of person you want to attract. Because it sounds like right now you're not attracting super serious people.
Yeah. But I did close some clients on the DMs, but it's just like for a minimal amount of money. Like it's really nothing. Like I trained them on Instagram and everything on Facebook, and then it's just like a 40-minute training, and then they pay on PayPal, then done. That's it. There's no contract or anything.
Well, that's okay.
So
That's okay. Could
yeah.
you get some really good testimonials from that person?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Good. So you got something else out of it besides the money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
I would go
I
back
think
and
the
kind of
later content like on the women's what's that? Women helping women's, right?
yeah.
So it's really good.
Thank you, thank you. The idea is for you to just follow seriously. Follow that strategy. If you need me to send the PDF that I like directed everybody to, do you
Mm-hmm.
have that one? The
Oh
magnetic,
no, I don't know
the
that one.
monetize your marketing. Okay, let me send that to you. And you
Okay.
start. I want to talk to you again at some other point, maybe in the next few weeks, and I want
Okay.
you to start implementing what has actually been taught in this mini mind, and then come back to me and tell me it's not working. Because if you really,
Yeah.
if you, and in this video too, that it's all being recorded right now, go back and watch from the beginning, and really pay attention and start doing what it is I talk about. Okay. I mean, I even at the
Okay.
end, right before you hopped on, I was going through how to find leads. I was going through how to strike up conversation with leads, how to do it in a way that does not give you a bad reputation. And go and
Yeah.
just take all of this because I know that you've had like there's a big time difference between us. Um,
Right.
and I know that you have a child and you're busy with nursing school and all that. So I know you haven't gotten to really focus on it, but take some time and go through all this training and start creating content like the badass that you are. And
I
I
hope so.
promise you, you'll start seeing people reach out to you about your services. But when you reach out to them and you get them on calls, it'll be more aligned, and
Yeah.
I think you'll be more confident because until you see the sales, it's
Mm.
it hurts your confidence, and when your confidence is hurt, you're not consistent. And if you're not consistent, you're not like it's just it's vicious cycle, you know.
Right. Right.
So
Well, yeah, I actually closed some like as you said, like I closed them for $250 or 150. It's just a small amount of money, through DMs, and I DM them first. So after that, but then
well,
that's just it's not really consistent. It's not really like since I'm doing a lot of stuff, so I'm not really.
yeah, well, go easy, give yourself grace. But like I said, this video alone, if you were to only watch this video and pair it with the PDF I'm sending you, that alone should
The
help. It should really help you. because
Okay.
it can be done with small pockets of time. It's what are you doing in those small pockets of time, right? And it's
Right.
creating the content, sticking with the strategy, and then getting in front of as many people as you can on a consistent basis so that they see the content, so that they know to reach out to you, so that you can
Right.
ask for the sale. So,
Should I make it private or public, like the
your content that you want to attract people to you should always be public.
public? Okay.
Yeah, because
Because most of them.
what happens
Okay.
is, well, you have to think. At first glance, when someone goes to accept your friend request, they go and they click on your face, and they go and they look at your timeline, and they see, does Jackie add value to my life, or does she feel like a spammy robot? So if you don't have anything on
Right.
your timeline, it may look like you're fake to begin with, but when it's public, they can see it and they can make the decision. Do they want to follow you? Do they want to friend you? Do they want to work with you? So it's really important that you have stuff visible. If you keep it all private, they may never accept your friend request to begin with. But the other thing
Right.
it does is when someone goes to comment on your stuff or they go and share your content, it's
Mhm.
allowing their audience to see your stuff too. Because if they share it and it's not public, it's if it's private like that, it's not being shown to anybody on their friends list, and that's a really big advantage because you're now in front of a completely new audience that had no idea you existed before then.
Right. Right.
That
Okay.
makes
Thank you
sense?
so much. Yes. Thank you so much.
You're so
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you got to hop on at the tail end and ask those questions because it looks like it's been bugging you. You're like, I need these answers.
Yeah, I need this. Yes. Yeah. It's just that I haven't really done any work at all, like nothing. Okay. So yeah, and I'm busy with work and stuff, and my what do you call this? My school, my daughter's school. My daughter's sick right now, so
Oh, well, I hope
where
she
do you
feels
live? Where do you actually where in the US do you live?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah,
Mississippi.
go look it up.
Yeah, yeah. I've been there. Like I was there in the US in last, I think 12 years ago. It's a
12
long time.
years. Are you in the Philippines?
Yes, I am
Yeah,
right
you're
now.
far.
Unfortunately, I'm here.
Are you trying to get out? Is that where you want to stay, or do you want to move out of the
No,
Philippines?
I don't want to stay here. No. I'm sorry.
Where do you want to go then?
I don't know. Maybe Europe again, Europe or the US. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Well, do you have
Just
any other questions before I go?
no, no. I'll just, of course, I'll follow your advice, and then I'll just do some content first, okay, before anything
Yes.
else.
Yes, and if you want to send it to me to look over, you can do that. I don't mind helping.
Mhm.
But look, everything you need to know is in that group and in that chat, okay? Everything you need to know. And if you'll just go through it all and apply it,
Mhm.
I promise you'll see results.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. My English is kind of rudimentary, though. Okay, so it's not really,
I
you
think
know.
it's beautiful. You speak better English than people I know around here, so.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. But if you have any questions, again, go look at everything. Whenever you can, watch a little bit here, watch a little bit there. Any questions that you have, send them to me. Um,
Mhm.
but just put yourself out there, Jackie. Until you put yourself out there, nobody knows. Nobody's gonna
I know I have a problem with visibility. Like I used to be like an extrovert, but now I'm like I don't know what happened to me really.
probably
I'm usually
motherhood.
all over the place, but right now I'm like
You know,
I don't know.
that's okay. But I'm here. I'm here for you. So ask me questions when you need to. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. I actually before I message you, I actually watched your video.
Oh, which
Like you
one?
have a link, right? What do you call this? How to start a coaching business. Yeah, how to start a coaching
Yeah, a
business,
coaching or
yeah.
consulting business. That's yeah,
Yes,
that's an old one.
coaching. Yeah, that's the first video like I watched
Yep, that's
from
an
you.
old one too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
well,
it was
that's
an old one.
that's so cool. That's so cool that you found that. But that just, hey, no, that goes to show you that when you put your content out there, it works for you. Like that was from last year, and you're watching it just now. So
From last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool, huh?
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Jackie. My
Thank
name's
you,
Jackie
Jackie.
too.
Jackie and Jackie. All right. All right. I'll catch you later, okay?
Okay. Bye,
Bye.
guys.